Ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. My name is Marcus White, that's Nicholas Cavalli, and this is the Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast. Oh yeah, I'm rubbing it in every episode, buddy. And it's a great day. It's a great night. Because not only is yours truly the Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast champion, but the OC, in the span of a week, picking up back-to-back victories. It's a great time. You know, it wasn't a great time. And that was majority.
Us getting sued for copyright infringement?
No, that's the majority of Monday Night Raw. That is what was unenjoyable tonight.
Fair. Totally fair. Yeah, Raw was...
Raw was the cheeks. Yeah.
Live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, what were you doing?
I don't care, dude. I just don't. Like, this is what I've been talking to you about for weeks, where I'm like, the more NXT and AEW succeed, the more I just don't give a damn about Raw or SmackDown.
So, I'm going to center myself a little bit more in camera shot here. Look. Raw. That's two stinkers back to back. Now, in all fairness, there was a couple good things tonight, especially the way you ended Monday Night Raw. It's pretty good. It actually, you had me hooked. Like, I was classic Monday Night Raw. Like, you know, oh, that was great, that ending. But everything else was just so mediocre to bad.
Which is good news because we forgot a segment on our last video. We never did Match of the Night or MVP.
That is fair. I mean, we also ran completely out of battery life. So, yeah.
So we can definitely talk about that to replace the fact that this show was the cheeks. But we'll get to the show first.
No. Let's start off.
Oh, thank God! Let's start off with something good. Okay.
I'd rather them just get that out the way now and go straight into Raw.
Oh, thank God! Do we have to talk about Raw at all? Can we just make this the match of the night MVP video?
No, we have to talk about Monday Night Raw. The champ proclaims it. We will talk about Monday Night Raw. So, first we'll talk about our match of the night from AEW Revolution, and my match of the night. It's not close for me personally. It is the Young Bucks versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Match of the night.
Yeah, that's an easy pick for everybody.
Yeah.
MVP?
What about your... are you going with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy pick.
All right. Well, MVP... That's a little bit tougher. So, my MVP... I don't think you're going to like... In fact, actually, I know...
Is Hangman Adam Page. I'm not stupid.
Yes.
You're not going to like mine either.
Yeah, my MVP for the night is Hangman Adam Page.
Can't believe I'm saying this live on camera. My MVP is Orange Cassidy.
Yep. I knew as soon as you laughed, it was Orange Cassidy.
The guy who showed up and showed out the most in that night. Fight of the night to Jon Moxley.
All right.
F you, Hangman.
Well, there you go. So now on to Monday Night Raw, live from Brooklyn, New York. I was hype. I was expecting, the crowd to be, super hype. Even if, Raw wasn't going to be good and only the crowd, especially in a city like Brooklyn, can, kind of bring the fire. You guys did not tonight. I'm disappointed in you.
To be fair, when wrestling is so bad, people just don't show up. I mean, we're not going to SmackDown.
Yeah, but, I mean, the people that do show up, still, it's like, this is one of the more hardcore towns. I expected better, Brooklyn.
Yeah, wait for all the crickets at SmackDown on March 13th, because ain't nobody going to LCA to see SmackDown.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an empty arena. Like, they packed out Barclays.
And the worst part about it is that's going to give WWE some kind of indication that we're not a good wrestling town. We are. You just suck.
Yeah, well, that is the sad thing. I mean, Barclays was packed tonight.
Yep.
They did a full view of the whole arena. It was packed. But, LCA, they're going to have, like, half the arena just empty because no one cares about SmackDown. But enough about that.
Look, dude, we can say no one cares about SmackDown over and over again. No one cares about the main roster.
I mean...
aside from they had a 3-week run, Raw's not been good except for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, we've only been back for like 5 weeks. So.
I know, but like...
So that's 3 out of 5, essentially.
That's 3 out of 7 because we did 2 weeks originally.
Well, we didn't think those first 2 weeks were awful. They just weren't the best.
Oh, God. Raw's so bad.
So, kicking things off, it's Brock Lesnar. And this was, your standard Paul Heyman promo. Not a lot to say.
Brock not fighting on Raw. Brock showing up and jiggling his body.
And just talking about how they're not scared of Drew McIntyre, blah, blah, blah. And then out comes one Drew McIntyre to interrupt. And Brock, he gets right in Brock's face, stares him down. Brock just kind of laughs it off, goes, "Okay, Drew, okay." Starts to leave the ring, but it was a fake, goes to attack Drew McIntyre, and Drew immediately connects with the Claymore, lays Brock out. Drew goes up the ramp, walks out, and Brock sold that Claymore for a good minute. He's like stunned, laying on the canvas, can barely move. Paul's trying to wake him up, then he starts to move a little bit. He gets up. He's visibly upset. The crowd's chanting, "You deserve it." And then as Brock starts to leave the ring, they start chanting, "Na, na, na, na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye." So Brock starts making his way up to the stage, still selling the attack. And then out comes Drew McIntyre with a second Claymore. And then the crowd starts chanting one more time. So Brock gets up and Drew hits him with a third one. Yay. So Drew McIntyre getting the best of Brock Lesnar tonight. And we're going to have one unhappy beast next week. So I like this. I like kicking off the show with your champion. I give Brock credit. At least he's showing up every week. I like this for Drew McIntyre, pushing him, getting the better of Brock Lesnar multiple times now. So that's cool. We then get the Street Profits versus Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy for the Tag Team Championships.
In a now or never match.
It's now or never. So what they explain finally once the match begins that if the Street Profits lose this match, it's their final opportunity at the Tag Team Championships. Now, they don't say if it's final opportunity forever or final opportunity as long as Seth and Buddy are champions. They just say final opportunity. So I'm assuming it's probably the first one. I don't know. They don't explain it.
I have no idea.
They literally don't explain it. I did like the promo that the Street Profits cut before the match. Getting the crowd hype. I love the Street Profits, so this was cool. And then you have the Authors of Pain just kind of standing at the top of the ramp, just menacingly, just looking angry. Pretty much the whole match. They just stand there, spotlights on them. They just look mad the whole time. So this was a competitive match. Street Profits and Seth and Buddy kind of went back and forth until finally you thought Seth was going to cheat his way to victory, the AOP.
And then we get extremely confusing spot number 5 bajillion.
Yeah, the Authors of Pain start to walk down the ramp to attack the Street Profits while Seth is distracting the referee. And then the ref turns around and catches them, but all they did was walk down to the ramp, down the ring. He tosses them out, throws them out for walking down the ramp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's illegal. Don't you know?
Yeah, I mean that's illegal. But Asuka literally sitting perched in the ring on the turnbuckle. Fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. Yep. So yeah, ARP gets thrown out, and amidst all the hubbubaloo, Kevin Owens comes in, delivers a stunner to Seth Rollins. That leads to a frog splash for the 1, 2, 3, and new tag team champions, the Street Profits. So I like this. That's one of your grievances with tag divisions gone there.
Congrats. You have 1 out of 3 tag teams that have been thrown together within the last 3 months that were champions taken out.
Yes.
And to be fair, the other one was a tag team thrown hastily together 11 years ago.
Wait, who? Oh, you're talking
Miz and Morrison.
Miz Morrison, yes. So, yes. So, I mean, that's how... Yeah, I'm not going to get into the debate again, but yeah, Miz and Morrison tag. I like them having.
I like them together now.
Yeah,
they've grown.
I liked them back then. I mean, they were stable for a while, but yeah. So, go ahead.
No, I'm going to give as much effort as they give to Raw every week. That's just where I'm at. Like, genuinely, I'm at the point with main roster WWE as many fans were during WCW's days with Vince Russo. I don't care. You don't have compelling storylines outside of 1 or 2. You had Ricochet lose to Riddick Moss in a 15-minute match for the 24/7 champion. What is wrong? I don't care. I don't care anymore. I just don't.
Well, let's jump ahead a little bit here. You get the Ricochet. I was call it the Redemption Tour, but I guess it's the Barrier
It's the Squash Tour.
Yeah, Ricochet comes out in a match for the 24/7 championship against Riddick Moss, and no, he loses. By the way, this match went way longer than it was supposed to be, but Riddick Moss wins with a reverse neck breaker. Ricochet lost to Riddick Moss.
You don't book anything well. You don't have more than 1 or 2 compelling storylines. You are overusing legend talent. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. It's the same old song and dance. The problem is you've been doing it for 25 years this way. Give it up. Learn to change. Triple H did. And his brand is the most successful in the company, even though you stripped it of most of its talent.
Yeah, it's...
You have no idea what you're doing, Vince McMahon. You are killing.
And the sad part is that Raw's being booked by Paul Heyman, and it's still bad.
It's only partially being booked by Heyman. He's the executive producer of creative or whatever.
Yeah, he's the executive head of creative on...
Well, they have one on SmackDown too. I can't even remember his name. I don't care to.
Yeah, I don't care. No one cares about.
But SmackDown. You know more than half of this stuff is not Heyman. You know more. You know what's Heyman? Seth Rollins' gimmick is Heyman. The Randy Orton Edge feud is Heyman. You know what's not Heyman? Latino Hour.
I would actually wager Latino Hour is Heyman, because I feel like that's kind of... I can see how they would consider that maybe getting some of the more underused talent.
That's fair.
Well,
how about Ricochet Riddick Moss?
No, I would say that the way it's being done probably isn't Heyman. Like, maybe that probably wasn't his intention.
No.
But I would assume that getting people like an Andrade, like an Umberto... Like Garza involved more on Raw.
Yeah,
that was probably Heyman's idea. And then Vince just went, you want them on Raw? What if we put them on Raw, but all together? But Vince, that's not really what... No, we're gonna fight each other every week for months.
Yep. How about, I don't know, Ricochet losing to Riddick Moss? You think that was Paul Heyman? I bet you it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think.
This is what I'm saying. Vince McMahon and his little cronies have done nothing to make me give an F. And now, guess what? There is an alternative to you. You are not the only channel I can have on a given day.
I mean, actually, they're only
on Mondays.
I was gonna say they're only on Wednesday.
On Mondays, well,
and Friday.
Yeah, but on Tuesdays I could turn on Dark, or I could turn on Impact. But you get what I'm saying. You're not the only company.
Your point stands. Yes.
You're not the only company. You need to go back to the mindset you had when WCW was threatening to put you out of business, because quite frankly, if you're not careful, somebody will. And I hope they effing do.
Yeah, while I don't see WWE ever going out of business, I can see them taking a huge hit from just... I mean, every time I say that something's going to impact them negatively long term or whatever, WWE just fights out of it. They've got this like staying power. I mean, no one is ever too big to fail, but it kind of seems like they are, and that's kind of the sad part. I do feel like, because I mean, kind of the problem that they have right now is the fact that WWE is just simply targeting a different audience than AEW is. And that's just the sad part. AEW,
they're not targeting wrestling fans.
Yeah, that's the point. Like that's why WWE can afford to just put on garbage week in and week out, because they're not targeting wrestling fans. Their audience is complete. Hell, the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown audience compared to NXT is two different audiences. WWE's not worried about.
They don't care.
Yeah, WWE's not worried about AEW.
That's what I'm saying. WWE does not care about wrestling.
Yes.
So guess what?
That's why
I don't care about them.
That's why it's branded as sports entertainment. Like they don't. WWE knows they have a system that's worked for 25 plus years. That's going to work for probably ever, as long as you have old fans that are going to bring their kids in. Because I love Roman Reigns and stuff like that, and like it's pop culture now. It's no longer pro wrestling. It's just another pop culture. Like it's a gimmick. You don't watch WWE because you love pro wrestling. You watch it because it's pop culture. Because, oh, look, Mark Wahlberg made a reference to Monday Night Raw. Like, it's... WWE, it is very hard to be in your corner. It really is.
Yeah, if you wonder why we canceled our Friday video and why we get on the mic on Mondays and would rather talk about literally anything else... Yeah, this is why.
Like you give me. There are weeks where you come out and you're fine, and then there are weeks where
you put Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Yeah, and even it's like even with tonight's show. I mean, again, I can't fully trash the show because they did do a couple good things.
Yeah, they finally took the belts off Seth and Buddy.
Yeah, about
time. But then you bury one of the hottest up-and-coming stars in the business. Not just your company, in the business. And to say that he's up-and-coming is a total lie.
He's been
WWE fans, who probably have no idea who the hell he is because you have no idea what wrestling is. Sorry. Ricochet's been around forever.
Yeah.
Ricochet is one of the best, most seasoned vets in the business. But you wouldn't know because you probably don't even watch wrestling outside of WWE. You probably tune in on Mondays and Fridays to see John Cena and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't care.
Yeah, what they did to Ricochet tonight was like Matt Hardy levels of unforgivable. I mean, you just was... I can't say fiend.
There you go. No, that is the perfect example. That right there is the perfect example.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy loves you and left you because you are effing up that bad.
Yeah.
There you go. But yes, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, the thing with Ricochet is that, at this point, I'm wanting for you to just...
Leave?
To just leave. I mean...
Go back to NXT? Go to AEW?
I mean, I can sit here and do the same song and dance of, I wish you'd go back to NXT, but let's be honest, they're just not. They've done it for a couple people, but... there is a real life tug of war happening between Triple H and Vince McMahon behind the scenes when it comes to talent, and unfortunately Vince is always going to win that. Vince, he gives the dog a bone every once in a while and goes, "Okay, you wanna You want the goofy one that dances and the one that has the selfie stick? Go right on ahead. Yep. You want the skinny vanilla midget? Go right on ahead and have Balor. But it's just I don't even know why Vince fights so hard to steal talent from NXT if you don't use them.
He has no idea how to use them.
I don't get it.
No way Jose showed up today on Raw
and did nothing.
He was one of the most over people in NXT.
You gave him the Adam Rose gimmick, and then you only used him as
a jobber.
As a jobber, yeah.
And this is the thing. When we started this podcast 5 months ago almost now?
Ish, yeah.
I said I am going to do everything in my power to maintain a balance. To not just come out and trash WWE. And for 5 months, I really, really tried. I'm done trying. This is hot garbage sauce. You know what this is? This is when you take a trash bag full of old liquor, put it in a trash compactor, and let it leak out of the door onto you.
I think it's just the residual from watching Wrevolution on Saturday.
It is, because I watched good wrestling. And now I'm watching trash.
Yeah, you come off such a high from Wrevolution. I mean, it could have been the same thing with TakeOver. Portland, you come off... I mean, you came off such a high, and then you just go to,
Right. But that's the thing. I rolled with the punches that week because I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to trash him. I can do this.
Well, the thing was,
I'm not staying strong anymore.
The thing was, we had also confidence that Raw again has been very up and down. It's like a roller coaster, and then now this is two down. This is 2 down weeks again. You're reverting to Monday Night Raw.
This is the other thing. We also had to call to attention the fact that when we say good, we don't mean good. We mean good for Raw.
I don't compare...
On a scale of 0 to NXT and AEW, Raw is not anywhere close.
But I don't compare Monday Night Raw to NXT and AEW in terms of, my grading scale, because I understand that NXT and AEW are, on a completely different scale. I mean, again, that's the thing. Let me finish. Again, they're targeted for a completely different audience. So if I was to grade Monday Night Raw or SmackDown based on my level of professional wrestling, of pro wrestling, and not just the entertainment industry as a whole, then Raw would never get above a 2 or a 3. But I'm not grading them on that scale. I'm grading them just as okay, here's a show, here's sports entertainment or wrestling. Let's see what you got this week. I'm grading them on a whole different scale. You can't compare them to AEW and NXT.
You should be able to compare them.
But you can't, because it's not...
Then why are they even on our podcast? We are a professional wrestling podcast, and you're giving them sports entertainment BS.
It's aimed at a completely different audience.
Then why do we even do this?
Because that's what we do. We came out and we said we're going to do this every week, so that's why.
This literally, that is how upset Monday Night Raw has me right now.
I don't know. I can't get that upset at Raw especially when...
It doesn't belong.
Especially when you do get good segments out of Raw every so often. I can't get mad when the ending of Raw had me feeling the way I felt. I genuinely enjoyed the end of Monday Night Raw.
Yes, the last 15 minutes were great.
And I also, I know you didn't like it, but I actually enjoyed the opening segment with Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. And I thought, I say it as a joke, but I actually, Latino hour, yes, but I actually did.
That was the best match of the night.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that too. So
out of what, all 3 matches they had on a 3-hour Raw?
And I liked the Street Profits going over Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, so I really loved Ruby Riott versus Liv Morgan with Sarah Logan as special guest referee. Yeah, good booking. Yeah,
there are things that I didn't like, and there are things that I liked, but I can balance it out. I'm not saying Raw was amazing. I'm going to be honest and tell you what I like and what I don't like.
If I only liked 50% of the show, you're failing.
Yeah, I'm not.
I liked 30%.
Again,
you're failing.
Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Raw was great tonight, because it wasn't. It's not even good. Raw was not a great show tonight. I started out. This was 2 bad.
Would you give it an F?
Yeah, I would say it was definitely a bad show.
Then you can understand my anger. We just came off of possibly the best pay-per-view since All Out.
I would say since Portland.
Yeah, take over Portland, that's fair.
And then before then, what's it called? Worlds Collide. So, you didn't like Worlds Collide?
Not more than All Out
I'm not,
or Full Gear or anything. Well, okay, I can't say anything AEW because, Fyter Fest was a thing.
Okay, well, I disagree with that then.
Well, I love Worlds Collide, don't get me wrong, but, I wouldn't put it over Full Gear, which was the last AEW pay-per-view before this.
I'd say they're about even.
Yeah.
For me.
But again, we're coming off of one of the hottest shows ever.
Yeah, but you go from a pay-per-view and you go to just your standard Monday Night Raw.
You go from reading an essay by Stephen Hawking to reading an essay by a fourth grader whose mother was on heroin while she was pregnant and thus has had a heroin addiction his whole life.
But I guess I don't have this much of an inherent hatred for the main roster or Monday Night Raw as much as you do, though. I can go into the show clean slate and just say, all right, let's just reset and let's get ready each week. So, I can grade Raw based off what Raw gave me tonight. Raw gave me... Again, I named you the majority of all the segments that I liked throughout this show.
All four that you liked.
there weren't many. All these segments went long. So, again, you had the Brock Drew segment was at least 10 minutes, at least. The Street Profits Seth Rollins Murphy match was about a good 15 minutes. Then you had, and I didn't even get to the Aleister Black AJ, which I liked. So, again.
That was goofy as shit.
It was
very goofy.
Well, I don't know what's goofy about it, but again, that's actually the next thing on the list, so we can kind of segue into that. Aleister Black versus AJ Styles, my boy, the phenomenal one, and he comes out, and it's about to be. He calls out the Undertaker and Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
But
it's not goofy. I promise.
He calls out Mark Wahlberg. That part, okay,
that part was very goofy.
But I was talking about the match. I wasn't talking about the
look,
the promo. I said Aleister versus AJ, so I think
I was just talking about the whole segment. Aleister versus AJ. Aside from the fact that it was definitely a little goofy, the whole you didn't read the contract that you signed. You got to face Carl Anderson. You got to face Luke Gallows.
What I thought was funny. First of all, this whole Wahlberg thing was just so forced because, as soon as AJ was done showing the video clip of Wahlberg, taunting him, they were like, make sure you go see our friend Wahlberg in this movie, which I didn't even catch the name because who cares? But, Aleister comes out and, they're all ready for the match. Then AJ goes, whoa.
You did not read the contract that you signed. The one good thing that comes of this is they finally acknowledge that there are contracts signed for every match. Wait. What about the ones in WWE that just happen to get tossed together on a 3-second notice? Yeah. There's two people fighting in the ring. Send a ref out. We'll figure it out later.
What? Do they just sign a contract later?
Yeah. No, they agree on pay later.
Yeah, pay later. I guess. It just goes towards your wages.
It's their flat rate match cost.
Yep. But so AJ goes, before you got to get to me, you got to beat the toughest man in the building, Carl Anderson. So it's Carl Anderson versus Aleister Black, because this is apparently a gauntlet match now. So he disposes of Carl relatively easily, and then he's like, whoa. It's not me versus you yet.
No,
again, you didn't read the contract, buddy. You got to take on Luke Gallows now. So it's Luke Gallows versus Aleister Black, and Gallows was actually beating down Aleister pretty handily. If I'm being honest, the only reason that what happens next happens is because you're trying to build AJ Styles. But Gallows actually takes a disqualification because he had Aleister in the corner and he was beating him down so bad that
and the ref for 5.
Counted 5, and he didn't stop. And then Carl Anderson gets in the ring and him and Luke Gallows tag team assault Aleister Black, beat him down badly. And then in comes AJ Styles to pick up the scraps. And it was at this point you were saying that it was going to be a repeat spot from Super Showdown.
Well, because that's all WWE seems to do these days is just throw out the leftovers from last week's dinner.
Yeah, but I knew we weren't going to get 2 Taker appearances that fast. So, yeah. No Taker. Nope, the match bell's rung. Match has started. AJ versus Aleister. Aleister clearly in no shape to fight at all. AJ makes quick work of Aleister, hits the phenomenal forearm, and then folds the arms, does the tongue out, classic dead man pin for the 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles is victorious, and then it's announced after that at Elimination Chamber, in a no disqualification match, it's going to be AJ Styles versus Aleister Black.
I'm so glad that we had 1 week of build to a pay-per-view.
This pay-per-view
What are you doing? Like, when you scheduled the Saudi show, you didn't think, oh, wait a minute, we're going to have a pay-per-view right about then to lead into WrestleMania. We'll put them 1 week apart.
No, they and this is the problem when you sell out for blood money, is that you have to just kind of go wherever what they say. They're like, you're going to give us a pay-per-view this time.
Whenever you're beckoned.
Yep. Chop, chop, you know? So, that's kind of how that goes. So,
hey, we want you to put the belt on Goldberg. What?
Huh? We like Goldberg over here. So, yeah, that's the thing, along with R-Truth. So, who was
the one thing I agree upon with the Saudis.
So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. We then next get a quick little Ruby Riott interview. Basically just says that she can attack whenever she wants.
She says the same thing she said 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, except now it's about her instead of about Liv Morgan. So, yeah. We get Ruby Riott versus Liv Morgan with special guest referee Sarah Logan.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I kind of like Sarah Logan in this role. I think it fits her. You should probably stay there.
Yeah, she's better as a ref than she is in the ring.
Yeah. So
she'd still be like the 4th best person in AEW.
So this wasn't a.
I'm just coming after everybody tonight.
This wasn't a good match. Like, it just wasn't. The only thing that comes from this is that Ruby Riott accidentally on a kick out. Ruby kind of accidentally hits Sarah Logan. So then this leads to Sarah being all angry and upset. She also apparently, when she puts on the black and white stripes, has the health meter of a referee, because one kick to the arm was like showing it like it was broken or something. He was like holding it like this, like. So
she had it like dangling by her side the rest of the match.
Yeah, so like Ruby goes for a pinfall and Sarah's too busy grasping at her arm, and then finally goes for the slowest count ever, and Ruby's just like...
And she got like the T-Rex arm count. It's like...
Yeah. So then Ruby's like, the F are you doing? Like, it's not this hard to count. Sarah's like, you hit my arm. So Ruby gets mad at Sarah Logan. She shoves her. She's like, whoa, I'm the referee. And then Liv Morgan rolls up Ruby Riott, and then Sarah with the fastest count ever.
With the little T-Rex arms.
Yep, so ladies and gentlemen, it's the Brooklyn screw job.
Yeah.
2 screw jobs back to back.
You know what's funny? I like Liv Morgan. I could not possibly care less about this segment.
It's funny because I don't like Liv Morgan. I like Ruby Riott, but yeah, same.
You still couldn't possibly care less about this segment?
Yeah, so then after the match, Liv Morgan attacks Ruby Riott. And then after that, Sarah Logan attacks Liv. So it's every woman for herself, because Elimination Chamber this Sunday.
Cool. Love this spot that you don't repeat every year.
Yeah. So, as we alluded to earlier, No Way Jose in the back. He's leading the conga line, and he runs into Eric Rowan, who's in front of his cage, and he goes, "Hey, Rowan, I just want to know. Everybody wants to know what's in the cage, man. We just want to know." So Rowan replies, "Look, man, all I've wanted all this time is for someone to approach me like a human being, ask me in a decent manner. So you know what? You want to know what's in the cage? I'm going to show you." And pulls out the fakest looking
mechanical spider,
giant mechanical spider. So it's all of I almost said rosebuds.
Yeah, the conga line.
The conga line.
But the rosebuds, yeah.
Yeah, they all just go their ways, run away. And yeah, it's the fakest,
What,
goofiest
you don't
looking.
like my friend?
Yikes.
How the mighty have fallen.
I called this weeks ago when the rumors came out that, yeah, it's a spider. And I was just like, how are you going to do that? Like, it's just dumb. And yeah,
It is just dumb.
It is very dumb.
Well, your best friend left the company for better company, so you had to replace him with a spider. You had to replace Luke Harper with a mechanical spider. How does that make you feel, Rowan?
The difference is, though, I don't care. So, like, it's not like Luke Harper where I, like, feel bad if he's being used wrong or anything. It's Rowan. I don't care. He wouldn't do any better on the indie scene. He generally wouldn't. It's not like we were missing out on some, like, amazing hidden talent. Like, he's going to go out there and become the next Cody or something.
He's semi-athletic, I guess, but no, Brody Lee is going to be great to watch on the indies.
And it's not like he has any good mic skills either.
No, he would need to be in a tag team.
It's that he'd need to be like a Jack Swagger type.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? He would need to be in a tag team. Oh, that's so cool. That's how tag teams should be formed. Guys who don't have strengths. Not the two best guys in the company.
I hard disagree, but
Sorry.
You get all your unguided, your misguided rage out. Get all that out. But yeah, fake spider, conga line, cool. We now get what was supposed to be Asuka versus Shayna Baszler, which I was looking forward to this match, but no, it was announced before Raw that Asuka is injured, so replacing her in the match is
The Pirate Princess!
Kairi Sane,
Who definitely is a heel, we promise.
Which we saw this match in NXT and it was great. My, how the mighty have fallen, because this was just
Garbage.
Completely
This was
different.
garbage.
This was completely different
Again,
from.
this is what happens when you take two very good NXT talents and put them on the main roster.
I'm not even mad at. No, I'm not mad at Shayna for this. I'm not even necessarily mad at Kairi Sane because I'm more just. It's a match that no one cares about. It wasn't to be. It was all kind of last minute. Like it was supposed to be Asuka versus Shayna. So
It still could have been a good match.
Yeah, but the fact is no one cares about Kairi Sane, like in the least bit.
On the main roster, they don't. People loved her in NXT.
I was never a fan, if I'm being honest. So this is where my own personal bias is going to come out. I never liked Kairi Sane.
She was your Bianca Belair.
I mean, I never hated her like you hate Bianca, though. I was just kind of
Oh man, that hair, dude.
I was just kind of like, meh. I just
that
thought
effing hair, bro.
I was just kind of like, meh. I saw the athleticism, I saw the charisma, but she was just not my cup of tea. That was just the only thing. So now that she's getting buried on the main roster, I'm just kind of like, whatever. It's not like Asuka getting buried on the main roster, which infuriates me to my core. But yeah, I was looking forward to this match when it was Asuka. And then as soon as you took Asuka out, I was like, well, don't care. And not just because it's Asuka, but because Asuka's also in the Elimination Chamber match. So that kind of would have made sense. But again, she got injured. So I don't blame them for this match not being the best. It's just kind of the spot they got put in. But yeah, it wasn't the best. At one point, Becky Lynch actually comes out for commentary, looking as douchey as ever. I think some of that Seth Rollins is finally starting to rub out on her a little bit. She even at one point puts on
King's Crown.
Yikes. Yeah, actually, I'm going to rewind here real fast because before the match, Asuka and Kairi cut a promo, and Kairi saying the whole time was just kind of like you have Asuka cut this like kind of mean promo, and then you have Kairi saying who would just. I mean, she's in her mean Asuka voice, and then Kairi cuts this like she just kind of laughs and like this like the cute Japanese girl laugh. So. And then she was like, at one point, Asuka saying like, "Oh, Sana, you got lucky. It's not me." To which Kairi like looks so sad about, and then goes, "No, Asuka, I can do this. I promise." No, you can't, Kyrie. It's cute. It's adorable, actually, that you thought you had a chance in hell against Shayna freaking Baszler. The cage fighter.
Does this mean that we're getting Kyrie versus Asuka? After they drop the belts at Mania to Natalya and Beth Phoenix?
I just want the belts to just go by the wayside. Just get rid
or,
of them,
I don't know,
please.
bring back the Iconics or put them on Fire and Desire.
Wouldn't matter. There's not enough women tag teams for this division to be a thing. There never was. This just doesn't need to be a division. Get rid of it. It's just bad. In fact, the fact that it is a division means that you consider like the tag teams like the Iconics and Fire and Desire not worth using in your main feuds.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not worth using apparently with the title belts either.
Exactly.
You know, the Iconics got a run. Fire and Desire never did.
What was it? Sasha and Bailey got a run.
Yeah,
and then it's been
Alexa, Nikki Cross, and the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, and then now it's been on the Kabuki Warriors for like forever now. So
no, this is just like you had female tag teams.
Yeah, but it was never a big enough division to justify making belts.
I would have loved to seen the Iconics and Fire and Desire just feud over these belts for like literally a year.
I mean, that
would have been fine because by then maybe you have enough time to build some other tag teams. Except instead, you were like, we're going to throw the two Japanese girls together and call it a tag team and put the belts on them.
I just don't think your women's division is large enough to support.
No, it's not. But I mean,
not only a Raw and a SmackDown main title division, but also a tag title division as well. It's not big enough.
This is my thing. If you're going to do it, which it seemed like they had made up their mind really hard they were going to do it, there's so many other ways you could have done this, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked that you booked this entirely the wrong way.
I just think it was doomed from the start. I really do. I mean, and even again, though, I'm actually going to counter your point here because I do think they started it out right.
Bailey and Sasha.
Yeah, like it started out like it was going to be a good idea. The problem is they eventually realized, oh, wait, we only have like 4 women's tag teams.
Well, and they wanted Bailey and Sasha back for the main event picture. So they're like, well, we need to put it on somebody else. The Iconics.
Yep.
Great. That's great.
But then,
they drop it to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
The problem was in the process of dropping the belts, they also ticked off Sasha Banks, who went AWOL for a couple months. So it's just... I find that hilarious, like how they kind of got the shaft, like just out the gate. Like this was a failed project, doomed idea from the start. You could have avoided all of this,
and then all you need to do is have the Iconics feud with Fire and Desire from that point. Do not have them feud with a tag team of thrown together stars. Where did I get that idea?
But
every company ever.
Except apparently AEW.
No, they did it.
Throwing together stars?
Yeah, throwing together stars. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
No, but I thought you were saying to not do it as every other company ever.
Oh, no. Every company's done it.
Yeah, so... I think it's just you that hates this, bro.
I do hate it.
I don't know why. And no one else has a problem with it. That's how you have to make tag teams somewhere.
People have had a problem with it with a couple of different tag teams throughout history.
But the thing is, they have a problem when it's bad.
Like you're telling me the Kabuki Warriors are good?
I liked them when they were face. I thought they were fine.
Great when they were face.
I thought
when the green mishap.
When they were face, and when at the time when they won the titles, it was still hope. Not hope. I thought it was doomed from the start, but they were still like putting effort somewhat into the women's tag division. I was like,
the titles died when Alexa and Nikki got the belts, which hurts me to my core.
Which is also, by the way, another thrown together.
That's the one I initially was talking about.
Yeah.
That hurts me to my core, but you killed it when you put it on them.
I don't know.
Fire and Desire were the next to get it.
Which is also another thrown together tag team. All tag teams are thrown together unless you come up with a business together. So that's why I just don't understand your point here.
Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose debuted on the main roster together.
They debuted on the main roster in a stable with Paige.
Together.
In a stable, though.
Yes, but those two were the tag team in the stable.
They were the tag team in the stable because you said so? Because Paige the only reason that Paige ended up going by the wayside was because she had to retire.
Well, yeah, I know that, but they were the tag team in the stable, regardless of reasons.
I mean, they had no chemistry prior to them being formed, because if you watch them in NXT, they were never together. That's my point. All tag teams are mushed together unless you come up together. So I just, for the life of me, I don't get your point.
But again, they've built them. They have built Fire and Desire. Mandy and Sonya Deville are real life best friends.
Well, yeah, I mean when you've been on the road together forever, yeah. But are Adam Page and Kenny not real life best friends? That came up together, have been on the road for years together.
They've never even been in the same company until this year.
Adam Page
was in Ring of Honor. Kenny Omega was in New Japan.
Yeah, but they've been together though. Like
Adam Page together. I know.
Yes, so.
I'm just saying, like I said, they took their time to build Fire and Desire. I don't like tag teams that are literally thrown together and then a month later get the title. The Broserweights, as much as I love the gimmick and I think they're hilarious, you're tag champs already.
But I mean,
Kenny and Hangman.
I don't know. I don't see the issue here. I mean, you've seen it all throughout wrestling history, so I don't. Again, that's how tag teams are formed. So I just think it's a much ado about nothing. It's just kind of the way I see about it. You're just getting yourself worked up over something that's not that big of a deal. Keep your focus on being angry at Raw. Like that, at least that's something that kind of matters.
Yeah, well, trust me. Part of the reason that I'm so upset about this whole tag team thing, and I'm still talking about it in this video, is because I'm just effing pissed at Raw, and I don't want to sit here and yell in the mic.
Well, why not?
Why not?
I mean, come on, give me your raw emotion here. I want to know genuinely what you got. What you got? I mean,
you want to know genuinely how I feel about this.
I mean, let's talk about this. I mean, we got the. By the way, Karafuna clutch for the win, in case anybody cares.
Which they don't, because it's Raw.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a thing. But yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
You want raw emotion? I'll give you raw emotion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me get off of your countertop for a minute.
Lay it on me, pal.
The people who tune in to us, hopefully, are not WWE fans. I don't want WWE fans. I don't care. I don't want them because they're idiots. They watch this stuff for fun. I watch this stuff because I have to. Literally, that is how I felt for the last 3 weeks. And, of course, it helps that we're not watching SmackDown anymore, because that made me want to lose my effing mind every week. And like I said, I came into this, we both did, with the idea that we were going to be as impartial as possible.
I've felt that.
I've tried so hard. I even picked NXT in one of our videos, but it never got uploaded. Because, we went on hiatus for a while. I'm done caring about WWE. I'll sit here, I'll do these videos with you, I'll talk with you, I will break things down with you, and I will sit here and get as angry as I've gotten today about every episode of Raw and every episode of, God, hope we don't have to do SmackDown again, but SmackDown that I have to sit here and do. And I'm fine with that. But my God, I don't care. I literally, the one thing that made me care tonight, was Randy Orton, Beth Phoenix, and Edge, which is the last segment of the night, which I agree with you. That 15 minutes was so emotionally charged that I gave a crap. And the reason that I'm so upset, is because Saturday gave me a reminder, not just of why I love pro wrestling, but a reminder of how far you can go when you are in the right place. Dean Ambrose, we talked about a year ago, was doing a gimmick where he was like allergic to the crowd.
Yeah, we're coming out in a gas mask every week. And he had to get a shot in his butt.
Yeah, and he's now the top of the other company, the hottest thing in the world. And like I said, this is the kind of thing that makes me upset, because I think about the fact that people like Ricochet are on absolutely non-compelling storylines right now. where they could be if they were in NXT or AEW or, for that matter, Ring of Honor or New Japan. Well, maybe not New Japan. New Japan's, I love New Japan, but they're,
Well, someone has to.
they're not doing it too much for me anymore. Ring of Honor is taken back over in that third spot for me, but still, like, I think about where Dean Ambrose was and where Jon Moxley is today, and I think about all the different people who are suffering in WWE right now. Aleister Black has turned into a borderline jobber.
He lost one match.
And before that, he went on a series of 3 wins with Buddy Murphy and fought jobbers before that.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him a job. Losing one match doesn't make you a jobber. And he lost via shenanigans.
Yeah, he was fighting developmental talent before that.
Yeah, but that's how WWE builds people. That's always how they've built people up. Always, they have them start with jobbers and then they work their way up. So let's.
And the other thing is, you have so much good talent on your roster. So much good talent.
Yes, WWE stockpiles talent. But
then why the F do you still have guys like Buddy Murphy on your roster?
You don't like? Whoa, hold up! You don't like Buddy Murphy?
I have never liked Buddy Murphy. I've never liked Wesley Blake.
Buddy Murphy at one point people were saying was one of the best wrestlers in the company. His matches against Aleister Black were phenomenal. That's why he's been
3 matches with Aleister Black were good.
And the work he was doing in the 205 Live was also really good.
I didn't like him in 205 Live either. I genuinely, there are so many people that I look at in this company that I go, why are you even here?
Okay, so let me ask: Is it a Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane type deal where you just don't like them as a person, or do you or is it like where you can understand that they're really good in the ring, but you just don't appreciate them?
It's one of those where when he was in NXT, I hated him and I wanted him fired because him and Wesley Blake together suck. They did.
Again, I guess I disagree with that too.
You liked Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy together in a tag team with Alexa Bliss as their manager.
I didn't like the Alexa Bliss part, but I thought the gimmick was fine for me. I thought it was fine.
I hated the gimmick. I hated him as a wrestler. Now he has improved significantly in the ring.
Here's the thing though. I never thought he was bad. You always looked at him and Wesley Blake. He was always the more talented of the two.
Well, no kidding. Wesley Blake is less talented than I don't know, John Cena's left pinky toe.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, Buddy Murphy has never not been good in the ring. He just was in a tag team that...
But that's just one example. And it's a bad example. But that's just one example why are you here?
But I guess my question is, what... You get to the point in terms of, is it his skill in the ring? Because he's...
No, in the ring, he's good. He's not compelling. He's not compelling. That's somebody where back in the day I would have said send them back to NXT and let them figure their stuff out. But NXT is not developmental anymore.
But I guess so then I'll push. I'm gonna push this a little bit further. What is it? What has Buddy Murphy been given to work with that could have given him an opportunity to be compelling?
Well, nothing. But that's an additional problem.
But is that a WWE problem or is that a Buddy Murphy problem?
But that's what I'm saying. That's an additional problem. If you can't find something for this guy to do, maybe you don't need him around.
But
you have too many people. That's literally what I'm saying.
But you were saying you don't like Buddy Murphy, so
that's just one guy who has not done anything.
I know. I'm just pushing the issue. I'm just
Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins.
The thing is, though,
Mike Kanellis.
The thing with WWE that you have to realize, though, is that they are more than just their 3 main TV shows. Is that they have an entire circuit that they do around the country of shows. I mean, the guys that we see that are jobbers on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown get pushed to the moon on the freaking the live show circuit. I mean, guys like R-Truth, like when he was the 24/7 title, he was going on runs on the live show circuit, like knocking people off. I mean, that's when you talk about people would say, oh, like Ric Flair, Ric Flair. I mean, I'll use him as a good example actually. When they were saying, oh, he has 16 titles, that's just what you know. I mean, for God's sakes, how many times did the title change hand on the live shows that people just never saw, or people with their undefeated streaks? I mean, you talk about Bruno Sammartino. How many matches did he probably lose on the live show scene? So it's kind of the same thing. Like, what WWE's always at this mindset of what happens on the live show circuit doesn't apply to the main roster. And I guess that's what happens when you're so huge that you get to a point where, okay, you have to manage your talent over in the UK, you let them compete, whatever. You have NXT, which is its own beast, but then you have the main roster with SmackDown and Raw, and you not only have to supply weekly entertainment for those two shows on TV. NXT, like I said, is its own beast, but then you also have to go when you have your live shows. Because you have to entertain the little kiddies and stuff like that. WWE has grown beyond just being a professional wrestling company. They are now that's always kind of been their end goal, but they are an entertainment company.
I know. So. Here's another one. I had no idea they were still employed by the company, and they may not be as of this video, but last time I checked, Primo and Epico Cologne.
Yes, they are, as far as I know, still. Because remember, they came back actually a couple weeks ago.
Why?
Again,
the Singh brothers.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where those guys are... with the Singh bros, I think it's just one of those things where... You just use them on...
They're waiting on Jinder to come back.
Not only that, but it's one of those things where you can have them do more live show stuff, and you can also, while they're not being used on TV, develop their skills more in the Performance Center. The Performance Center has become kind of like the worldwide place to go if you're a wrestler employee. Like, you can go and hone your skills. I mean, it's the Performance Center, yeah. You go and you hone your skills and you go and try to improve, and maybe one day you can come up and be a big star.
If you're not ready, why are you on the main roster?
But why do you think those guys don't get seen for weeks on end?
They shouldn't be signed. Hone your skills in the indies.
But that's the thing, you're honing your skill. That's the WWE's whole goal is they want to hone you under the WWE style. They don't want you going and perfecting your craft under the indie style that's not going to be used in WWE's. They'd rather you do what WWE... It's the same way when you go from... I'll use a sports team, for example. When you go from one NFL team to the other, there are some teams that run certain systems. If you're a quarterback, you want if you're a team looking at a quarterback, you want a quarterback that's going to fit well to your system. That's the way WWE goes. They look at all these guys as potential future quarterbacks, and they want to hone them under their system.
I just don't get it. I don't get why you have a roster of like almost 300 guys, and you don't have enough gimmicks to go around.
Now, I've always said this. I do think that WWE has a problem in terms of stockpiling talent, and the fact that I think they have more than they know what to do with. Because at a certain point, it's not just about you trying to build towards the future. It's also about you just... if we have this guy, the other company can't have them. So I agree with you when it comes to people like Ricochet. Like, yeah, you have him just because the other guy can't have him. And that's why I get so upset when I think about why does Vince need him on the main roster instead of on NXT. Like, it'd be different if Ricochet was on NXT. Mm-hmm. Then I'd say, okay, I mean, he may not... If he wasn't getting used on TV as much NXT... I wouldn't be as mad because I could think Triple H he's probably doing something in the Performance Center. He's probably working out some NXT live shows because NXT does also have live shows. Yep. So I mean, there's just I don't get as upset about this because I don't know. I look at WWE and I think about all the little things that we don't consider when we're just breaking down an episode of Raw, and I go, okay, to a point, because I'm not fully excusing them because. Again, with guys like a Ricochet, like a Matt Hardy, there's no excuse for that. Like, there's just isn't. But when you have guys, I'll use Zack Ryder or Kurt Hawkins, for example. Every guy has their place, and everyone knows that you're not going to be... and everyone can't be the main event. You just can't. There are guys that are career jobbers. Always have been, always will be. And it's just, unfortunately, I mean, I may not see Zack Ryder as a career jobber. I love Zack Ryder. But WWE probably, for some reason, looks at that guy and goes, he just doesn't have it. So he has been a career jobber. And he sticks with the company because apparently that's how he sees himself. So some guys just go, okay, I'm a company man. I'm just going to go with the flow. That's just how it is.
Like I said, there's so much about that company that makes me upset with the main roster. NXT UK, you guys are great. Why? Make me care. Buddy Murphy's character right now is, I'm Seth Rollins' bitch.
But me and you have both said we like the disciple gimmick. So I'm just kind of like, what's wrong with that?
Well, and
the whole idea is they are...
But he has no personality outside of, I'm his bitch.
I mean, but this is something that I think that's going to span, months on end. So, I mean...
That's fine. Give him a personality.
Yeah,
don't make him a piece of blank paper who is Seth Rollins. vanilla sidekick.
I think that's the thing, though, is that they look at Buddy Murphy as a blank canvas. I mean, you said already you didn't think he had personality to begin with, so if you take someone that you have a blank canvas, you have to mold him. So I think
he went from too much personality in NXT to zero personality. Somewhere in the middle would be nice.
And that's why, again, I think this is something that's going to take, they're going to do this gimmick for, I would hope, at least for the remainder of the year, because I do genuinely like the gimmick. So I think over the course of the next year, you're probably going to get something coming out of this. I mean, that was the reason they put him in the stable to begin with, because he was kind of just doing nothing. I mean, yeah, he had the feud with Aleister, which people said those were some of the 3 best matches you've seen.
And it was a
while.
great way to build
so
him. Yes.
The
only reason, and they've talked about this in WWE, the only reason Buddy Murphy is even in the feud with Aleister Black in the first place was because he showed something in the feud with Roman Reigns that was accidentally there.
Yeah. And
wasn't even supposed to. It literally happenstance.
Yeah, because that's all it takes. That all they see something that they like and they go, all right, I want that guy. But that's the business. I mean, we talked about how John Cena got a start. I mean, he literally was rapping on a plane, and then Stephanie McMahon said, I like that. He was on his way out the company. He was about to be fired. Like, they had already told him, yeah, you're getting your walking papers after this next season. And then Stephanie McMahon went, I like that rapping thing. Keep doing that. And it literally saved his career. And now he's the GOAT. Never call him that again, by the way, WWE. But yeah, no, he's one of the best we've ever had. So it literally just takes something that quick. No one saw Star in John Cena when he first came in. And now look at him. So that's all I'm saying. That's why I try not to give up on guys too soon, because you never know who could be the next big thing.
Yeah. This is, you know what? Let me put it this way, and then we can go on, talk about the last segment, talk about everything else. The Ricochet match tonight made me finger poke of doom angry. It made me tasing Bill Goldberg to end the undefeated streak angry. It made me Judy Bagwell on a forklift angry.
Yeah.
It made me the match that they had in the back of a chicken raising truck angry. It was the present on a pole match angry.
Well, I guess you could say if it made you that mad, then Raw did his job, right? It invoked emotion out of you. And with that, let's.
I don't think this is what they wanted. What that was the thing that Vince was talking about with Roman's gimmick.
Yep.
Well, hey, it makes the fans emotional. It's not knowing what you're supposed to be doing, though.
But that is exactly how they look at it. That's why they don't care. I mean, they were literally rubbing our face in it at the start of the show, talking about how Goldberg's picture of him winning the Universal title was the most liked wrestling photo ever on Instagram.
Yep.
Like, they're literally rubbing our nose in it, because at the end of the day, WWE goes, they don't care about what the reaction is. They just care about the fact that for 48 hours, what was the most trending thing in the world? Goldberg, The Fiend, WWE, Super Showdown, like anything WWE related was trending for upwards of 48 hours. I can still kind of scroll down the trending page on Twitter and still find, I bet you, like, The Fiend on there somewhere. Like,
I bet you after tonight, Goldberg's back on there.
Oh yeah, Goldberg's probably back on there too. And that's because at the end of the day, it's WWE not only again is with the TVs, but also now they have the network. They put all their content all over social media, the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And they make money off these things because of ad revenue.
This is literally the there's no such thing as bad publicity thing.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Because here's the thing, with WWE, they have ad revenue from you can get ad revenue not just from YouTube. You know this now. You can get it from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. When you get that big, you have ad revenue. That's why they put ads on their stuff. So WWE generating
what's ad revenue?
Yep, generating clicks, generating buzz, social media shares, like all that stuff. That's good for their company. It's good business. So whether it's good and people are going, I love this or not, yeah, WWE probably took a small hit. Like for subscribers to the network, like they probably people like me who were like ready and willing to hit unsubscribe, and the only reason I didn't is because our show. But yeah, there are people that are probably like, yep, that unsubscribe, and it probably took a couple thousand people hit. I guarantee it. But you know
I
what?
wonder what kind of hit their stock took.
Yeah. There was an article saying that WWE stock was trending downwards for a little bit, but I guarantee you, it's probably within the next week. It's probably going to be on the way back up. It probably ticked back up immediately. You wonder why? Because Vince probably sat all his stockholders down and were just like, "Hey, calm down. I know, no reason to freak out. I know things look bad now because bad buzz, but you guys aren't thinking about the big picture."
It's down 5% the last week.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the whole market crash thing, but
Yeah, so he's probably just telling everybody, "Hey, look, everyone, calm down. It's
actually, this was the perfect time for him to pull this kind of thing.
yeah."
Yeah, the markets have been down for a week. It has nothing to do with the fact that I put Goldberg over the Fiend.
Yeah, so it is,
Infuriating.
yeah, but at the end of the day, businesses do what businesses do, so I don't look at bad business practice as, oh, this is, this, like, whether it's, I don't look at it as being a bad thing. I mean, it is a bad thing, but I don't look at it as, oh, they have bad morals, whatever, because businesses are amoral. Their whole objective is to make money.
Tell that to AEW.
So whether, yeah, well, that's a whole different can of worms.
Literally, a wrestling fan was like, "Yo, I have money."
Well, yeah, the thing was, it was started by a billionaire
Who is a wrestling fan.
Yeah,
Who actually gives a crap about the business.
The thing was, Vince didn't start rich, though. Vince had to literally bring his company up from the bottom. So I think that's the mindset, is that the end goal of WWE, especially once they became a public sharing company, their end goal
it's profit, yeah.
Yeah, it's all for profit. Their end goal is to make money.
I didn't think about this. Any of you who are college football fans would understand this. Vince McMahon's Mark D'Antonio. He refuses to get rid of his aging, awfully bad assistants.
See, I thought you were going to compare them to, like, the NCAA or something.
No. Because look at it this way. We talk about all the time with D'Antonio. He was really, really good for 8 years. Mm-hmm. And all of his assistants were really, really good. And they won all this stuff together. The game started changing. And D'Antonio said, "No, but these guys and I, we've been through so much together. And we did so much together. And we did so well together. I don't want to separate us." And then eventually the mob came.
And you know what? And it'll
happen eventually.
It disgusts me, and it hurts saying this, but if you want to look at a perfect situation of someone whose staff changes literally year to year and has had the most success, Nick Saban in Alabama.
Yep, he keeps changing out his assistants because his assistants are going and doing things elsewhere. And his new assistants bring in new, fresh ideas. Wow, what greatness it would be if Vince went, "You know what? We need to fire every single person in this room and bring in some new guys."
Here's the thing, though, and this is actually where your point holds to a degree.
The fact that most of these ideas are Vince's?
Well, no, the fact that actually, minus some of the, like, the big corporate heads, a lot of these, the creative team actually are new guys. They're guys that, but here's the problem: they're not wrestling fans. Vince McMahon and WWE have brought in all these
businessmen.
They're
yes men.
No, not businessmen. They've brought in Hollywood story writers that have no knowledge of professional wrestling, so they just come up with. That's why some of these ideas are so wacky and outlandish, because they're not.
Don't say
they're
wacky.
not. They're
never say wacky in.
They're not. They're not wrestling writers. They're not. You're not bringing in guys that know the business. You're bringing in just creative writers to write wrestling storylines. That's why it's so weird and not wrestling oriented.
Thank you for refraining from the use of the word wacky.
So
2 days after
Vince
Moxley wins the title in AEW.
So Vince did listen to you. He brought in new guys. That's kind of the problem. If Vince were to bring in some of the old heads, guys that were good in the business. If Vince had
Kurt Angle,
look at Triple H. Triple H has people like HBK on his creative writing staff. If you bring in, and he did that a little bit with Paul Heyman, yes, but he needs more than a Paul Heyman. You need to surround yourself with guys like a Kurt Angle, people like that.
Well, and while he's only the on-screen GM, I'd bet you William Regal has at least a little bit to do with the creative 100%. In NXT.
And this is something that I look forward to. I don't look forward to AJ Styles retiring, but he has said forever.
Same thing with Matt Hardy.
When they are done, they want to transition to a creative role. While Matt Hardy probably will end up doing it in AEW.
Matt Hardy.
I know he said he wants to.
Will the company bring him back kind of thing? Yeah.
But AJ Styles for sure is going to have creative roles in WWE because they love him. So I would love to see you give 10 years down the line some of these older guys.
10 years down the line, Triple H will be in control of the company. Will be fine.
If assuming that Vince is somehow still in control, 5-10 years down the line, we look at some of these older guys that are that are WWE lifers that transition into a creative role. If you get like an Undertaker, like an AJ Styles, to start being in that boardroom, that creative writing sessions, oh my God, the magic.
The one that gets me is, how did Stone Cold escape that?
Because he didn't want to.
I don't care.
You
didn't bring out the Brinks truck and back it up to his house and say, Stone Cold, we need you?
The thing is, though, Stone Cold doesn't want to just be a part of the business. He wants to be a wrestler in the business. Hell, you saw when he popped up on that one episode of Raw, he immediately got the itch again, and he wanted to be back in wrestling on Raw, stumping a mud hole and walking it dry. Like, no, Stone Cold. I mean, I'd love to see it, but no, that's not where you are at your point in your life. But that's the problem with Stone Cold, is that they know that if they bring him back, he's gonna get the itch again. So that's why he's like, nope, I just don't want anything with the business. I'll talk about it on my podcast, and I'll do an appearance or two, but I don't want to be in the writing room.
And we talked about this for a while, and it'll probably never happen. I would really like to get Shane McMahon in on some of the creative sessions.
This was the weird thing. It was never fully clarified what Shane's role was on SmackDown. Exactly.
Right, because he definitely had a role. Because you could tell there was a definite difference when SmackDown Live first became a thing, and it first became his brand.
Yeah, you could definitely tell there was a point in time where Shane McMahon was in the writing room, but you could also tell there was a point where I don't know what happened, but did he get kicked out? Like,
I would guess it's probably something along the lines of A, Shane started wrestling more often, so he had less time doing that, more time training, or B, Vince just said, hey, this has been great, congrats, I don't want you anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. The relationship with Shane McMahon ever since he left the first time has just been so weird. Like, even, I mean, with the storyline when they brought him back initially, like, everything's just shrouded in mystery. Like, we don't know. And even the fact that now it's Triple H that's going to be taking the reins and not Shane. Like, everything's just, like, weird. So I'd love to see it, because I think Shane would be amazing in that role. We saw for the brief period where we at least assume it was Shane McMahon, or for God's sakes, whoever it was doing it.
Bring them back. Exactly.
Come back, please.
Yeah, whoever made it the house that AJ Styles built.
Yes, please come back. Maybe it was D-Bry, because remember he was retired.
That's true. It could have been. I mean, well, and you also got to think about the fact that, they had guys like James Ellsworth over.
Consider at one point SmackDown was the A show.
Yeah,
and they were treating it like it was. Mm-hmm. So I don't.
Whoever was writing that, come back, please.
I almost want to say, because we know that Vince doesn't really put a lot of effort into SmackDown. In fact, he kind of lets other people really take the reins of that. Maybe when I don't want to give him credit here. Maybe it was Vince. Because you see when Vince like fully ingratiates himself in something like that he cares about, it normally ends up working out all right.
I would still voucher to guess that it was Shane and D-Bry.
Oh, it was probably someone else still, but I just assumed, because you saw that there was a brief period where like Raw was kind of left by the wayside and SmackDown was ticking upwards. And
you mean when Finn Balor got injured?
And it doesn't seem like Vince would ever let his baby not be the A show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just a crazy conspiracy theory. I'm not gonna give any weight to it. Don't give any credence to it. It's just a conspiracy theory. But
okay, let's move on to the final segment.
Let's jump into this here. So no. We're not final segment yet. No? Ladies and gentlemen, it's our favorite segment of the week.
Oh yes, Latino Hour.
Yes, so it's Latino Hour finally, and
and we get the experience of a lifetime. We finally figured out why everyone loves Humberto Carrillo's theme song. Let's get loud. Let's get loud.
Yeah, it is. The comparisons are, stunning.
Play some J-Lo. Play the theme.
And this is actually, it's funny that you actually mentioned that, because that's actually, I talked about it before. There is a thing that, if you watch our video coming up this week, the weekend recap for this week, I'm planning on actually introducing a new segment where we talked about previously, where we're going to do some comparison and contrast for WWE theme songs and real life songs, and we're going to try to guess what the theme songs are. So it's going to be a cool little game that we're going to try playing this week. So kind of just cool how that worked out. Wasn't planned, it just kind of happened. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, Latino Hour. It's going to be Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza and the returning Andrade. Just Andrade.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and let you roll all the R's because I do it like an Italian, so it lasts like a half a second.
You do it like the announcer? Yes. Like Jeff, what is his name? Jeff Hamilton? Something like that?
No, Hamilton's the guy on
SmackDown.
Greg
Hamilton, excuse me. No, that is Greg Hamilton. That's Greg Hamilton.
They sound very like, I guarantee you it's not.
No, Greg Hamilton is the only male announcer in the company. Mm-mm. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, this is a new guy. He has dark hair. Like dark hair.
No, but the guy, I saw Greg Hamilton tonight. Like, that was him. Yeah, that was Greg Hamilton tonight. WWE. Because I saw him in the ring when he did it. Yeah, that's Greg Hamilton.
That ain't it, man.
I mean, I don't know if he's the normal Raw announcer, but tonight it was Greg Hamilton. I know that. I just know it was him tonight. I don't know if it's normally him or not, but I know that was him tonight because they showed him at one point in the ring.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Mike Rome.
Yeah, no, it's normally Mike Rome. I just know it was tonight. Like all I'm saying is tonight. It was Greg Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Because they literally showed.
They sound exactly the same though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it was Greg Hamilton tonight. But yeah, he tried to roll the R's and it was like how you do it. But
look, man, I'm Italian. I roll my R's right.
I don't know if right's the word.
Oh no, it's so much more beautiful.
It sounds like you're like spitting up food. So yeah, so this match was pretty good. Always nice to see Rey in a fighting capacity on Monday Night Raw. He has not lost a step at all. The way Garza and Andrade played off each other, like Andrade kind of had this like, you know, it's cool that you kind of were back while you were doing your thing while I was gone, but I'm back now, so
you can go piss off.
Kid. Yeah, step aside, kid. Kind of attitude. I don't really know how their relationship works. You saw that multiple times throughout the match where they just didn't gel together as a tag team. Not like it was intentional, obviously, but just as a tag team, they didn't really gel together. It didn't click, and that actually is what leads to.
Speaking of throwing, no, I'm just kidding.
That's actually what leads to Rey and Humberto picking up the victory. It's a moonsault by Humberto Carrillo for the pinfall. And then we finally get to the ending segment as Beth Phoenix...
I'm truly sorry.
Yes, Beth Phoenix comes out to give a medical update on her husband Edge, and she doesn't get like more than 2 words out before Randy Orton comes out.
Randall Keith.
And my... this gets uncomfortable, and I loved every second of it. So Randy goes for a hug. No. And then goes for a handshake. No. And then goes, you think I'm going to hug or shake your hand after what you did to my husband, you SOB? Randy goes, Beth starts, excuse me, fumbled on my words. Randy goes and sits on the turnbuckle, goes, Go ahead and speak. And Beth Phoenix starts talking about how, like, how could you do this, blah, 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 blah.
I'm here to give a medical update. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're here because you need to hear this most of all.
And she says how, like, you know, maybe there is a possibility. And then Randy stops her right there and goes, No, Beth. I know that is a certainty. I can't speak tonight. It is for sure.
It's okay, I can't stop yelling.
It's for sure that Edge will never wrestle again. Then he goes on to say that, you want to know why I did what I did? Let me tell you a little story. He takes it all the way back to the 90s. Talks about how he was just a kid, 19-year-old kid, going to see wrestling shows with his dad, Cowboy Bob Orton. Talks about how they actually met Edge backstage.
Edge was the only person to come up and thank Cowboy Bob.
Said how much he loved him. He's a legend in this business. Best bad guy ever. And then he says, well, this is my kid. This is my son, Randy. He wants to get in the business. And Edge shook his hand, looked him right in the eyes with full compassion, like full everything, and just goes, all right, kid, I wish you luck. Hope one day, me and you, if you're lucky, can work together in the ring. And he said that was the moment where he gained confidence in himself. He would then go on years later to work with Edge, and they would travel the world, tearing down the shows together. They would then form Rated RKO. And then he said that when he flew a little bit just too close to the sun and he fell down a dark path, it was Edge that reached down and grabbed him, pulled him from the darkness, and saved his life. And that is what he did to Edge. Because when Edge came back, it had been 9 long years. The pop, the reaction, everything. It was amazing. Edge being back for the Rumble. But he wasn't just back for the Rumble. Edge thought he could come back and do this full time. But Randy knew when he saw Edge the next night, it just wasn't possible because someone was going to do what he did and was going to try to make their mark.
The difference is they would paralyze him.
Yeah, they would put him in a wheelchair. So I did what I did to Edge to save Edge, to make it so that way your husband can be with your kids, can be with you at home, can go on hikes and bike rides, be the husband and the father he was meant to be.
I did this for you.
I did this for your kids. And you know what, Beth? I know there are people out there that are going to blame me for my actions, for what I did. But deep down, and it hurts, you know, none of this was my fault. It was yours, Beth. It was you because you are an enabler.
He's a junkie for the crowd. If he was a drug addict, you wouldn't supply him. If he was an alcoholic, you wouldn't pour him drinks. Hangman Page. But you know he's a junkie for the crowd, and you let him come back here. You let him experience that.
You know what, Beth? May be hard to hear this, but I think I love your kids and your husband Edge more than you. Yikes. Yeah, she slaps him.
And he just full on throws the mic behind him.
Yeah, like taking everything in his willpower to not go full Stephanie McMahon on her.
Stands up, looks her in the eyes, and goes, "You bitch."
And then she kicks him and immediately RKO to Beth Phoenix. And he leaves the ring.
I was calling for the steel chairs.
I was waiting for him to turn back around and hit a concerto, but no, he walks away. Beth is laid out in the ring. Medical staff and friends of the family. You see Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder come out. R-Truth, Rey Mysterio. They all come rush to the ring. They're calling for more medical staff, trying to make sure she's okay. Commentary team is stunned. Obviously, Beth Phoenix has her role in NXT, so they've all come to know and love her as a friend, as a colleague. So the way this show ends with that, it was treated with the respect that it deserved.
Yep. Raw did something right tonight.
Yeah.
They did one thing, maybe two things right, but they did something right tonight. They took the titles off Murphy and Rollins, so they did two things right tonight.
So,
match of the night.
That was Monday Night Raw. That was obviously a very polarizing show here at the Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast. So, match of the night. I'm going to let you go ahead.
That's what they used to describe Roman when everybody was booing him. Polarizing.
They called John Cena that too.
Yeah, when they were
one of the most polarizing.
terrible.
Yeah, one of the most polarizing people in sports entertainment today. But yeah, go ahead and give me a match of the night, my friend.
Latino Hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It was close. The tag match was all right, but Latino Hour. There's no interruptions.
Yeah, only reason I have to go just a little bit more towards the Street Profits and Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy's, only because they took the titles off of them, and I love the Street Profits. So it's a little biased, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Street Profits match.
MVP for you?
My MVP, it's Randy Orton. How can it not be Randy Orton? He had the best segment of the night. He's continuously one of the few things that makes me care about Monday Night Raw. It is Randall Keith.
My MVP is going to be Riddick No, I'm just kidding. Is Randy Orton.
It's Randy Orton. So, yeah, that was Raw.
I do have a fight mode fighter of the night.
Go on ahead.
Myself. This is BS.
Yes, so that is going to conclude our Monday Night Raw review.
Thank God.
And as always, make sure to follow us on our social media. Links down in the description below.
Like, share,
Revolution
subscribe,
Pro Wrestling
Podcast
Podcast is available on YouTube,
Podbean,
iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Podcast. And make sure to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe, as always.
Leave some comments if you think we're doing things wrong. If you think I'm too much of an angry young man or whatever, I get it. You're wrong, but I get it.
And till Wednesday for the Wednesday Night Wars, I've been your Revolution Pro Wrestling Podcast World Champion, Marcus White.
I'm a Fight Mode Nick, I guess, at this point, because I came out in Fight Mode tonight. Nick Cavalli, live from Studio 6.
Make sure you subscribe, and as always,
Join the revolution.
Have a great night.
Have a better night than Raw was.